Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It is my honor this morning to introduce a fabulous diamond. She is dedicated and knowledgeable, and she's so committed, and she's such an integral part of the NuPOWER family. And she has a fantastic NuPOWER training for us today. So please welcome Debbie Jeffries. Debbie.
Well, thank you, Donna, for that wonderful introduction and also for being Vanna with our slides. Greatly appreciated. And thank you to everyone that's on the webinar for taking time out of your Saturday morning to join us. You know, I am so excited to be a part of this 10-week NuPOWER training. Many of us have heard that seldom does our success exceed our personal development or our learning, right? So congratulations on investing in yourself today and learning a bit about some memorable storytelling. So I want to start with saying, you know, everyone loves a good story. Right? Since we were children, we've been listening to stories. They are very powerful and key to our business. Most of the most incredibly successful people in this world, no matter what industry, are great storytellers. So I feel if the incredibly successful people like the Jack Canfields of the world, Kendra Hall, Todd Falcone, Eric Worre, right, the list goes on and on. Well, if they're telling us that storytelling is a huge, huge factor in the level of our success, well, success leaves clues. So let's not miss out. So for that reason, I'm so thrilled to talk to you about this topic today. And you know, if you want to influence, the most effective way is strategic storytelling. I've heard it called the secret weapon of communication. And I'm actually going to start with what a story isn't, because I think it's typically what most of us do, right? So we don't want to mistake our story or a good story for our mission statement, maybe a list of bullets reshaped into a paragraph, right? Or a history of our company or the founders, or even a list of our ingredients or benefits. It's all good information, but it comes with little or no meaning. They don't move people. However, if you attach an interesting story to this information, it changes how people listen and how they remember. And we have all heard it. Facts tell and stories sell. So it's a science. Storytelling is a science. You get good at storytelling and you rule the world. And here's why they work. They tap into our natural desires. People can picture what you're talking about. They can get an image or a mental picture in their brain. And it's how we process and remember things. And even at that, the message then sticks for days, for weeks. We won't remember the facts and the figures, but we will remember a good story. And it changes the conversation. People's ears perk up and their brains perk up. You know, when you hear the words, "Have I got a story for you?" or "Let me tell you a story," it just does something. You perk up and you want to listen. Stories drive action. And isn't that what we want, right? To move our customers and prospects into action? So to intrigue your prospects, there are two key things that, you know, I've heard we need in our pocket. Tools such as our, you know, the videos that we have, the products that we want to demo, that sort of thing. And then the second is a great, well-crafted stories. And typically stories involve a person, a situation, an event, begins at one place, ends at another. So, you know, where were you? What happened? Where are you now? And they usually have emotions attached to them. And a great crafted story also contains information that is delivered with purpose. You want to engage the listener and then move them into some action. And then stories are memorable. A story is a fundamental way that humans organize and store information. And as humans, we connect through shared experiences, commonalities. And telling our stories and hearing the stories of others also remind us that although we have many differences, we still share many of the same fears, the same joys, the same struggles that come with living and wanting and being, right? And here's why crafting a story matters. It's inception. It is how you put your ideas and your messages into other people's brains. And I've heard it said that the strength of your message is no longer measured by how well you can communicate who you are and what you do. It's all important, of course, but even more important is how well your customers can tell their people, then their people can tell their people, their networks. And it's kind of important because last I heard, we just happen to be in the network marketing business. So all of us have a network of people. And if you can share stories that can be shared easily with other people's networks, wow, right? That's what we want to do. And some of you may have heard of Brene Brown. She's an author, great author, and she quoted, or I want to quote her, pardon me, that maybe stories are just data with a soul. Bits of information that you want to get into someone's head that are spoken with emotion and heart. So that's fine. Everyone loves a good story. What do we do next? Yeah, let's find some stories then. People love a good story. Let's find a few. We all know that the stories are key, and we have limitless options for where we can start looking for stories, right? And I just want to share what some of these options may be. So make a list of all your firsts with NuPOWER, product and business and community, right? Maybe the first time you realized the product was working and blew your mind, right? How amazing it is. Or when you first realized that the business made sense and you committed. Maybe it was when you received your first paycheck, right? Make a list of every customer, distributor, teammate. Maybe you have a teammate who was skeptical but kept an open mind, did it anyway, and now retired her husband. You know, maybe it's a list of objections. You didn't have the money, but they joined anyway. Didn't have the time, but they did it anyway. Make a list of product moments. You know, my story, the first time I realized I actually did look younger. I was looking at pictures from a conference and thought, wow, I didn't look so bad. And I realized, you know, all of a sudden I was looking younger, and I knew it worked for everybody around me, but wasn't sure it was working on me, right? Share your stories. Or maybe you saw confidence in your nephew who graduated acne-free and got to walk across the stage holding his head up high. Maybe some business success moments. The moment that you knew you found your new career, or that you were nervous but took the plunge anyway. Or maybe you worked a traditional job and chose the path of an entrepreneur. Or maybe it's someone who just added this as an extra income stream to an already successful career that they loved just so they could travel, you know, quit a job they hated, took kids on vacation they didn't think was possible. So make a list of some business success moments. So start finding some stories, and then when you have a few, the next thing you want to learn how to craft them and to tell them. You know, crafting and telling a story. If you want your story to resonate, you must craft it so you can. And that's quoted from Kendra Hall, and anyone that was at our last conference, Kendra was there. She's a professional storyteller speaker. She did a fabulous job. I'm going to be sharing some of her material today because she's no sense reinventing the wheel, right? So yeah, a little bit of Kendra Hall for you. You know, look at where you were, what you didn't like, what you found or what happened, you know, maybe a turning point to give people a glimpse into your decision-making process and get them to see how you weighed out your choices and took action. And then the new you, or how you've changed, or how the experience has changed you or will change your life. You know, I'm sharing here just snippets of storytelling, finding and crafting your story. And I just want to add that, you know, there are more in-depth programs if you wish, step-by-step details. But for now, I just want to share a few points or rules to finally get you started. So talking about rules, I just want to share with you just a place to start, right? You know, set the scene. It's always around people, places, or events. That's what stories generally surround themselves. Stories include emotions, the struggles, the hope. You also want to include specific or strategic details. Don't be vague in your storytelling. And lastly, you want to offer a directive, you know, instruction or guidance to do something. You want to offer something to make people want to take action. And just something to note, you know, we all make common mistakes which make it difficult for people to truly see the value of what we're offering, the story that we're telling. We want to connect with people, and the story should be compelling and memorable when you're meeting these prospects. And the most important element to developing a relationship of any kind is establishing trust, right? We all know that. With friends, business partners, customers, trust is critical. And the trust building process can be expedited if both parties share a common goal or at least a similar experience. So now people not only need to relate and find that common ground, but before they even start listening, they want to hear what's in it for them. And part of it is not only in the commonality, but sometimes in the words we speak. So if you were on the training webinar last weekend, last Saturday with Tish and Wynn about intriguing and inviting, you would have heard how important this is. You know, and with a story, not facts, figures, or ingredients, but focusing on what was wrong with life and how was it fixed. What was the skin concern and what was the result? Or what was wrong with their health and how it was fixed? You know, many of us can talk ourselves out of business without even realizing it. You know, think of this. You approach someone who could really use our products. It would change their life, but they just don't get it. They don't see the value. They might say it's too expensive or I already have a cream. You know, I'm thinking just a few of us might have heard some of those comments, right? Just a thought. And same with our business opportunity. We meet people every day who desperately need our opportunity. But you barely get 2 words out and they shut you down or they brush you off. And in either case, we have something very valuable to offer them. People need us. But why aren't they jumping at a chance to buy our products or join our team? It could be that we just aren't closing, right? Not asking them to. Or it could be that they just don't see what you see because they didn't see or hear any value to them. So a simple mindset shift and a little practice on how you talk to prospects can be very effective in even getting strangers to get excited. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later. I'll get back to stories, but I just wanted to share that little piece of information with you. So we're talking about how important stories are, and we have our own personal stories, of course. However, we also know that we meet people from all walks of life, in various stages of life, different situations in life. Everyone has a story. So maybe not a good idea to start collecting other people's stories as well to find that ground of commonality. So start collecting stories. You know, start a story notebook. We all talk about, you know, stories needing to be relatable. So a great tip, you know, is to start collecting. So no matter who you meet, where you meet them, what background they are, you're going to have a story that you can share with them. For every situation, for every objection, question, person or background, maybe topic-specific stories. We have many walks of life in our business to start collecting. You know, there's realtor stories, they love their career but no time freedom. There's nurse stories. Sally Arnold, a nurse for over 30 years, was skeptical but saw something and did it anyway. You know, stories of people who didn't have the money but joined anyway, didn't have the time but did it anyway, right? Start collecting stories. And when you are creating your own stories to add to your collection, you know, you can look at things like, who are your most satisfied customers, right? Think of 5 of them. You know, what was their story before using our products? How did you meet them? What has changed in their life since they've been using or purchasing our products? You know, just pick 5 of them. Give it some thought. Same with our business, right? Pick their most passionate or driven distributors, your teammates, your leaders. What was their story, their why? What was missing in their lives? How did you meet them? What has changed in their life since they committed to building their business? Right? So ask those questions. And again, there are limitless options for where you can start. And, you know, here's just a few ideas. Again, Kendra Hall shared them at our conference. For those of you that weren't at the last conference, she came up with 5 stories, 5 must-have stories that pertain sort of directly to our business. A few of them I've already mentioned, but I'm going to share them with you again. So she shared, you know, the 5 stories we must have. A story of your why, a product transformation story, opportunity stories, biggest objection stories, and some leadership stories. Okay. So next step, you've collected some stories and you're going to continue to collect them as you build your business, but how do you know what story to tell? How do you choose the story? So I'm going to share an idea that might help you just to keep it simple. You can ask yourself a couple questions. Start with the purpose of your presentation or conversation. Who are you talking to? Who's your audience? And what is the purpose? Is it to invite them to an event, to try our products, to help them realize they could do this too, right? Is this a good fit for them? You know, what is the goal? What do you want people to walk away feeling? Or what do you want them to be motivated to do? What action do you want them to take? Do you want them to take a closer look at the opportunity, to sign up as a distributor, get them started, or maybe just open their minds to a new way? Make sure that that is clear. It will help you choose the right story for your audience or your purpose. You know, if you're talking to a professional corporate woman that you know maybe has the status, makes okay money, but absolutely no time freedom, you might want to share a story similar to mine. You know, I worked in the corporate world, didn't know there was another way, never been in network marketing, and my whole world has changed. Because if you told a baby boomer or a corporate woman looking to transition out of that world a story about a stay-at-home mom, they're likely not going to relate. And really meaning they'll listen politely but miss the message that you're trying to share with them. And if you don't know your audience or person, just ask questions and they will tell you. They'll tell you who they are and what they're looking for. So storytelling, it's a skill. It's a skill, and like any skill, it takes time to develop. You know, we have all heard some poorly told stories. People go off on tangents, they're irrelevant, longer than necessary, and I am personally learning so much about the power of stories and the difference between a good one and a bad one, a well-crafted or an off-the-cuff. And you know, have you ever been telling a story and then saying, geez, where was I going with this, right? I know I've been guilty of that, and guess what? I went off on a tangent. And what happens is you totally lose the power of the story you were trying to tell. And worse than that, you might look like a bit of a scatterbrain. And I can only blame my menopausal brain so many times. So, you know, storytelling is natural to us, but good storytelling, effective storytelling needs practice. And please practice. I said earlier, get great at storytelling and rule the world. No, well, it's more than just opening up your mouth and spitting out some words without any thought or consideration for who you're sharing it with. Take the time to find the stories you want and you need, and then craft them to deliver a specific message. You know, you must incorporate stories for your business because we want to connect, to motivate, you want them to resonate. And they must be relatable. What's in it for them? You know, earlier I said I'd come back to this because it's so important. People care most about things that affect them. And we can make the common mistake and tend to make things all about ourselves, right? And I get why. I understand why we're just a little bit enthusiastic. Of course we want to share everything that we know, and that's all cool, but it's how we speak to others, and it's the words we choose that can sometimes make the difference, whether they hear us or not. And we tend to share things from our perspective and use I just a bit too much. You know, I love the products because this is what it did for me. I love the business because it changed my life. I think you would be really great at this. Or I think you should seriously take a look at this. And people don't really connect because you've just made it all about you. So they'll politely listen. They'll appreciate, you know, the enthusiasm you have, but they'll completely miss the point. So let's think about this. You know, vision that we're walking around with these invisible antennas on our heads, right? Designed to pick up the many messages that we get in a day. And I believe there's literally thousands of them. We can't possibly process all of them. So we listen for the messages that mean the most to us, and we pretty much ignore all the rest. So when we're presented with information, our brains they ask us two questions, right? Our brains ask two questions. What does this mean to me, or what's in it for me? And then what should I do about it? So if you want people to tune in and respond, you need to make it super obvious what's in it for them. So always be asking yourself, what is important to this person? And then speak from their perspective. Again, we heard it on last week's training about intriguing and inviting. It's so important to make it about them. So by simply shifting words from using I to you will love my products because they will help you. If you join my business, here's what it can do for you. If you attend this op meeting, here's what you will learn, right? So I hope you got the idea. And another common mistake I just want to touch on is we tend to talk about our products and about our business opportunity. And we can easily get caught up, in the detail, how they work, what's in it, where it was made, how to use it, right? I mentioned this earlier. It's not what a story is, right? Yet, talking about our products and service just happens. It's so easy for us to launch into long-winded explanation of why we're so great, and with the business as well. It's so tempting to talk about the company, the founders, the comp plan. Again, it is what a story is not. Stats and figures and facts, they're not why people connect with us and buy our products or join your team. People buy products because of what they can do for them, right? When they hear you break down ingredients, it doesn't mean anything to them. But when you talk about how they'll help their son be acne-free for graduation, just like your nephew did, that starts to mean something. And people will join your team because of what you and your business or our business opportunity can do for them. Same as providing a lot of information about our business plan, about our company. It's likely not going to inspire them to take a serious look. But if you can help them see how your business can help them quit the job they hate, take more vacations, or spend more time with kids, right? These words start to have more meaning and relevance. It's all about the end result. It's the experience they're looking for, and it's what they're listening for. So if you tie all this into a well-crafted story and you have their attention, you've now tapped into their emotional side. So I want you to jot this down. Why do people need our products? What problems do they solve? And this list is endless, right? The problems that they solve. It's as simple as, it's winter in Canada here almost, and we get dry, itchy skin. Maybe they're going to have better sleep to not have itchy skin, right? Whatever problems that they can solve for people. And how can it transform people? Boost their confidence, you look better, feel better. And what is the end result or experience that someone gets by using them? Healthy looking skin. And healthy skin is sexy. Yeah, and I just said that out loud. I think TL would appreciate that. Healthy looking skin is sexy, right? So what's the end result or experience someone gets by using them? And then ask yourself the same thing about our business opportunity. Why do people need our business? What problems would it solve for them if they joined and worked at it? Maybe they do need to make more money, set themselves up for early retirement. They want to have money for time and travel. The problem today is people either have the time but no money, or the money but no time, sometimes neither. More time, freedom to do what they love, not worrying about layoffs. How can our business transform people? And what is the end result or ultimate experience that they get to have by building this business? And you may have heard this before, and it's just an easy way to remember to get yourself on track. Just take a deep breath and think. We want to sell the destination, not the plane. Okay? So, I want to share with you a few more things. As humans, we make decisions for emotional reasons and then justify them with logic. This is extremely important. People will buy products and join your business for the results that they get, but also how they're going to get to feel. And stories have emotions attached. And we make decisions and take actions because we want to feel something. And emotions tied to a story do just that. And this drives the majority of our decisions. So it might be a good thing to know, right? You want to paint a picture within a story of how they get to feel. Here's an example. Making money is a nice benefit, But we all associate different feelings with money. So by adding more specifics cut into a story, it becomes alive, and your prospects will then get a sense of what's in it for them. You know, something like, my business can help create a more work-life balance so you don't have to feel super stressed and totally burned out, and then tell them a story. Or my business can help you condense a 30-year career into 3 to 5 years so you don't have to worry about how you may not have time to build that retirement nest egg, and then tell them a story, you know, of someone that you know that this helped. Now, the more time you spend on this and practice it, you know, you're going to train your brain to think this way, and it's going to become more natural for you. And just a little psychology to put behind this, you know, why do people really buy your joint? You know, think of a scenario. You're sitting across from a prospect, trying to read them as you're having a conversation, you're going through your presentation, you're going, you know, what are they thinking? Are they bored? Are they excited? You know, are they maybe making their grocery list or thinking about that golf game on TV that they're missing? You know, what if you really knew what was going on in their minds? What if you knew even maybe more than they realize themselves what's important to them and what would motivate them to buy our products or join your team? So let's look at this. What drives our actions? We're very complex creatures, but most of our behavior is motivated by just two things. It's either logic or emotion. We experience the world using our minds and our hearts. So another scenario, sitting at a coffee shop with a prospect. You're talking, you're sharing information, and they're taking it in on a logical level. They're evaluating the information with thought. They're deciding if they like how it works or if it's something they can do. Does it all make sense? But at the same time, they're also being affected on an emotional level. They might love the idea of having their own business. They're imagining how great it would feel being their own boss, to have more time, right? They get a sense that the business feels right on a gut level. So you attach a relatable story, and then they can feel on the emotional side or an emotional level that it's possible for them as well. And I want to take it just one step further. Bear with me. Out of these two forces, logic and emotions, believe it or not, emotion has more impact than logic. Because our emotions are primal. They're an unconscious force that govern our actions and determine our decisions most of the time. Now, it's not that we don't use logic and common sense, but it's often our emotions that are driving the bus. And of these emotions, we have two big ones that drive all of our actions, and it's either pain or pleasure. And as humans, we instinctively avoid things that cause pain, right? We are wired for survival. If we think we might get hurt physically or emotionally, we're wired to avoid. We move towards things that we believe will give us pleasure and make us happy. For example, I'll share something with you. You know, logically, I reason that buying that new pair of black shoes doesn't make any sense at all because I've got 14 pair at home already and my Visa's maxed out. But that doesn't stop me from buying them because I feel like I deserve them on some level. I've done something today, something fantastic to deserve them. Or maybe I'm just having a bad day, right, and I want to feel better. And besides that, I actually read a sign the other day that Cinderella is proof that a new pair of shoes can change your life. So gotta have them. So logically, anyway, doesn't make sense, right? But emotionally, I'm feeling better. We're drawn to experiences that make us feel good, even if it goes against our better judgment. So let's look at, you know, people buy our products or join your team for two big reasons, okay? They see our product or our business as a way to solve a problem or avoid some pain, right? They see our product or business as a way of getting something that they want, a result, an experience, to feel good, to be happy, to change their life, right? What is the most important to note is that people will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. So as much as we don't want to focus on the negative things in life, if you want people to take action, especially when you know it can change their life for the better, you may have to use the persuasive power of a pain point or a struggle or a concern that is shared within a story to motivate them to do something. And it's not scare tactics I'm talking about, but a pain point that might keep them up at night. What is it that we offer, and what is the pain or the struggle that they could avoid by taking us up on that offer? So for example, my business can help you make more money so that you don't have to feel stressed all the time or run up credit card bills. And then attach a story about someone who maxed out their credit card bills. I think TL has one, right? Or my business can help you have more free time so you don't feel like you're missing out on life because you're working all the time. And then attach a story about someone who had no time for family and friends, and now got to change their world. So to show you how to break this down and get started, we can try matching a message to a specific market group or group of people. So to match your message and story to a market or a niche, what does that mean? We have the same products and business that we offer to everyone, but people will buy or join for very different reasons. There are many different kinds of people, and you may have noticed that a few common types are naturally attracted to work with you. And they can be categorized. I'm going to share some examples. So, baby boomers, men and women who want to leave their corporate jobs on the verge of retirement or need more income. Stay-at-home moms, they want more time with family, but they want to earn some extra income. There's the beauty industry. There's a whole healthcare professionals, they want more control over their lives and their hours. There's teachers, corporate or traditional businessmen and women that own their own business. You might have a great business, but no time freedom. And then there's the Gen Ys. They want to pay off bills, be their own boss. If you could get into their heads, you would have a better chance of understanding what's important to them. It will make it easier for you. So maybe jot down some of the most common categories, the type of prospects that you are working with or you would like to work with. For me, example, it's baby boomers and professional women wanting to change, wanting to get out of the rat race, yours is going to be different perhaps, but pick one at a time, and determine what pain or what problems or concerns or struggles that they have and that they'd like to eliminate, and what results would they rather have instead. And I'm going to give you some examples. You take nurses, for example. What are some of the pain points or struggles that they have? They work long hours. There's little or no recognition. Many times their income does not match the level of effort required. Not enough staff to cover the need, and that leads to increased stress levels. Right? They work crazy hours. They work nights, weekends, holidays. Like, how many people don't get to spend Christmas with their families and miss other important events in family life, right? They've got no control over their schedule. Most often they're working in a very stressful and somewhat negative environment. They're left feeling physically and emotionally drained. These are all common among the healthcare professionals, right? So what are some things that they're probably looking for? More time freedom, more income. They want to help others. That's why they're in the profession they're in. They want to be recognized and respected. They want more control over their schedules and responsibilities. They want flexible work hours. They want to be available for their families, right? Do meaningful work, be appreciated for their efforts. When I read all of that, kind of sounds like we might have something that could fit into the things that they're looking for, right? And look at the baby boomers. What are some of their struggles, right? No or little retirement savings. They're feeling stuck in whatever job they have. No job security. A fear of having not enough money to retire comfortably. They're feeling that they have limited control or little respect or recognition. There's the fear of the unknown. Or maybe their portfolio significantly decreased in the last few years. They think they're going to have to work forever. They're worried about ending up to be a burden of their family, or just the stress of not knowing what to do with their lives. So what are some things they're looking for, right? Additional income. They want to feel secure with peace of mind to sleep at night. They want some time freedom. They want to travel. They want to fulfill those dreams that haven't come to fruition yet, right? They don't want to be a burden on the family. They want more time with friends and to enjoy their retirement in a comfortable lifestyle. So if you know typically what some of the struggles that a niche has, and what some of the things that they're looking for, you can fit it into their world and show them how what we have can benefit them. You know, and there's others. I could go on about the Gen Ys, stay-at-home moms, any niche that you're looking at. Now, if you decide to prospect this way, just pick your most ideal. And I'm not saying limit yourself. Of course, we talk to everybody, right? But for the purpose of practicing, just pick one and work with it, because the rest will get easier. So pick your most ideal and learn everything you can about them. Determine the biggest problems that they're facing in their life, and then what solutions we can offer. And it can look like this. You know, I help moms to make a great income working from home so they don't have to feel sad they're missing out on the best years with their children. They get to spend more quality time during the important years. Let me share a story with you. Okay? Or I help small business owners boost their monthly income with an extra revenue source so that they can take time off to golf and spend more time traveling without going backwards financially. Let me share a story with you. Right? So I hope you're getting the idea. Now, if you don't have a specific group, you know, that's okay. Just ask questions. Ask lots of questions, right? Ask questions and you will know what story to tell. Who are they? What makes them tick? What are they missing? Are there any pain points? Because if you ask, they will tell you. You just need to listen for it. So what can our products or business bring into their lives that nothing else could? You've got the magic wand. If they could change one thing, what would it be? And then tell a well-crafted story to paint the pictures in their heads so they can visualize that they can make that change for themselves and their family. You know, you are their answer. They have been waiting for you. Ask questions, see if there's a fit, and then always make it about your prospects, their needs, their interests. Everyone's circumstances and priorities will be different. One size does not fit all. If you ambush someone with a pitch with no regard for who they are, for their feelings, they're going to run for the door. Right? If you don't know, then ask and find a story that fits. And I urge you to please take a serious look at that storytelling stuff and start collecting. Use stories to build relationships. That's the business we're in. We're in the relationship business, right? Use stories to build trust and transfer belief. Again, we heard it on last week's training. It was talked about how important it is to build trust, credibility, and excitement. Use your stories to educate and inspire, not convince or hard sell. Get prospects enrolled and into inventory packs that works best for their situation. And create beautiful lives. Set up those mentor meetings as soon as possible to get them dreaming again so they can start creating their beautiful life. You know, I own a Nucerity t-shirt that says, "It's your life, make it beautiful." I absolutely love it. It's our lives. Let's make them beautiful and let's go out and create more beautiful lives. So set a goal today and set it as soon as possible to review your story. Craft it, tweak it, practice it, and then get a notebook and start collecting other stories. So happy storytelling, everyone. Today, have a wonderful, and yeah, take care. Let's go create some beautiful lives.